So I think we can start. I'm Marco Della Rosa from University of Bologna. It's my pleasure to chair this session on technology. And the first speaker will be András Sebők of the Campden Hungary, and he is a general manager of the Campden Hungary, and also visiting professor at St. István University of Gödöllő in Hungary. He has many years of experience in managing research at the industry level, and also to manage European projects, and also a representative of Food for Life Hungarian platform. So I ask András to take the floor here and to stay in the time. Unfortunately, I cannot chair all the session because I have a problem with the flight. And after some speakers, Francesco will take my position here. Thank you very much. András, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the organizers for inviting me and making me possible to talk to you about the networking facilities provided by the ETP Food for Life, and also the access to the collective knowledge what the ETP is providing, and also some aspects of the transdisciplinary innovation what is also possible through this network. So the ETP Food for Life is an industry-led initiative where the industry, including the SMEs, research institute, universities, public institutions, consumer organizations, and other members of the value chain can work together to promote the innovation and the exploitation of the research results in the food sector in Europe. And we are providing a forum for strategy development, consultation, networking, lobbying, and dissemination. We have developed a range of documents which are representing the collective knowledge. Perhaps the most important one, or most frequently used one, is the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, where the actual version was produced in 2012. The editor, Brian McKenna, is here. It is thanks for his work that we have this in the current format. We have an SME task force which is dealing with the specific issues related to the SMEs, and we have developed some recommendations also which are available what help the SMEs to get involved. The other important aspect that we have a collaboration at European level, and also we have an implementation at national level. We have national technology platforms in more than 30 countries in Europe, and the experience, which means more than 3,800 members all over Europe, according to our last survey, including more than 2,600 food businesses. We have a mirror group at European level, which is made of policymakers and funding bodies, and also in many countries we have a national mirror group. This slide shows that nearly all countries you can find the national technology platforms. So if you need some contacts at national level, you can find the national technology platforms. It's a very good access to the industry. If you need any assistance, you can contact Daniela Rossi, who is the chair of the national collaboration of the national technology platforms, or me, who is the vice chair. So the main issue is that we have a network all over Europe. The ETP is involved in different initiatives around Europe and national level. And these are the main challenges which are addressed in the strategic research and innovation agenda, not reflecting the table of content, but you can see that practically the whole area of the food research and innovation is covered from health, well-being, and longevity till food processing and knowledge transfer. So you can find in the different chapters, in different format, a lot of valuable information, which is the outcome of the work of more than 300 professionals all over Europe, and it's a balanced representation of a collective knowledge. How we can use this network for transdisciplinary collaboration? The Food for Life is not only not a single European technology platform. There are more than 36 European technology platforms specialized in different areas. Many of them have national platforms, not only we, I mean not all of them, but how it works, that the ETPs collaborate to each other, but the national platforms collaborate to each other, and I will show you some examples later. We have a systematic collaboration with the European technology platform Manufuture, which is the manufacturing industry, and we carried out a project which was finished last year on the food factory of the future. And there is another systematic collaboration with the ICT area, and we are working together on the application of the future internet in the food and agriculture chain. So I will show you some examples of that. The main thing is that this network can be used very easily because we have all of the contacts, all of the systematic collaboration, so we can exchange ideas, solutions, adapt solutions developed in other sectors for the food industry. So it is taken, the ETP is taken, and the national platforms are taken as the voice of the industry. We are involved in the dialogue between the industry and research providers. We have a lot of discussion with the European Commission, with the national governments. In many countries, the representatives of the national technology platform sit in the government innovation bodies, represent the industry view in policy documents. But again, what I'd like to stress, perhaps the main benefit is that you can contribute and access to comprehensive, structured, collective view and knowledge of the industry and other stakeholders with what nobody can do it on its own. Maybe genius, maybe brilliant, but can't do on his own. Also, the other big benefit, as I mentioned, we can access to complementary knowledge of other people working in other disciplines of the food science and innovation, and in completely other disciplines. I mean, the knowledge of the high-tech sectors. Also, the national technology platforms are means to work with the SMEs and national large companies, which are usually far more similar to the SMEs than to the multinationals at national level, because they have specific needs, what we learned. They have limited use of resources, particularly for the preparatory phase of the projects. When they see the clear business opportunity, then they are ready to invest more money and time, but until they are learning the opportunities, they are very reserved. They do not like to travel abroad. They do not like to talk and work in English, even if they can. Of course, you can't make a generalization. Northwest Europe is completely different from the rest of Europe, but in Italy, Spain, Hungary, Eastern Europe, this is a very clear pattern. Also, what we can do and what they like, that we develop collective knowledge for the pre-competitive phase of the innovation until they understand what they can do with the new technology or the new concepts. and until they learn from each other the typical failures. Once they get into the close to market phase, then they need a confidentiality, and this pre-competitive collective research can be very easily converted to bilateral confidential contract research. But before that, they try to share costs and learn from each other, and also they need personal consultations. At European level, it's far more difficult because you need to travel 1.5 days or 2 days just to get there. I mean, that's a part, you know, I'm the most expensive person of my organization. But I spend most of my time visiting friends, clients, businesses, chatting with them, spending some time. This is how we generate projects, because they need this. Otherwise, if you just disseminate the results through the internet or organize a conference, this is not enough. So usually they need personal attention. So what we can also the national technology platforms provide, and the ETP. The ETP Food for Life is an official acknowledged consultation partner of the Commission. So before each call, we are consulted, we can provide our ideas for the calls, and we had, in the FP7, we had a fairly good success rate. In the horizon, in the first range, we had a slightly less successful, but still a fairly high success rate. Also, we can exchange experiences, collect best practices, we do it systematically. The national platforms provide means for understanding the national differences in priorities, hurdles, and innovation. So we have a main structure at European level, but each country can adjust the research and innovation program to its specific needs and conditions, because there are big differences. Also, we can use this structure for dissemination of the new knowledge. So we do systematically, within the collaboration of the national technology platforms, we have a standard point that we present a short summary of the European projects, what the members disseminate in their own country. So we have a European structure for accessing the industry, and even the national platforms have a system that we propose topics to the ETP which are proposed to the European calls. Just a few words about the innovation behavior of the food businesses and some of the other businesses except multinationals. So they are usually, I mean, you can't talk about SMEs in general. There are similar segments as in consumer segments. There are about 2-3% of the businesses who are really innovative. The others are followers, and about 90% are late followers. So they prefer to adopt existing and tested knowledge, learn from each other, and as I mentioned, they need collective activities first to understand the principles and the concepts, and need successful examples. On the other side, from the impact side, if we focus only on the most innovative ones, the food supply will be very limitedly changed, because it's not like the car manufacturing industry or the ICT, where the innovation spreads through standardization very frequently. I mean, SMEs have a major role, more than 50% of the local food supply. Therefore, we have to access as a broad community as possible to make the benefits of the innovation available for the whole population. So SMEs need practical solutions, not research results, but research results should be converted to practical solutions. They expect this have at affordable costs, and they expect results within a relatively short time. They are not able to fund research for several years. And they try to reduce the risk of investment of their funds, because if they fail with a research project, then they lose their assets. So it takes several years until can start a new one. They need support for financing innovation, and they expect to help in establishing partnerships. With the SME task force of the ETP, we made some sort of benchmarking of the food industry innovation against, compared to the high-tech sectors. One of the most obvious things is that if we compare the percentage of the SMEs cooperating with others to the high-tech sectors, we see that it's significantly lower in this sector. It's not so traditional or common than in the ICT or the electric appliances or car manufacturing sector. So we need, because the SMEs are reserved, we usually try to use cheap, easily accessible knowledge from other sources than research. And researchers have the tendency, because they are motivated to publish their research results on scientific conferences and research publications, which is not used by the majority of the SMEs. So the chance that, even if they have an interest, because of the broad range of the different topics and interests, the chance without an interference or support is very low that they will match. If we put intermediaries in between, then the success rate will dramatically increase. So that's the role of the national technology platforms, the technology and dissemination units at the Food Federation. So therefore, the operation of intermediaries in this sector is crucial. Another typical model, what we learned and what is used in several industry-based research organizations in Europe, that first companies need a stepwise introduction to the project. So first, usually we start with personal visits. The next step is we can develop them in collective research in networks. If it's successful, some of them will be ready to do contract work. After then, some of them can be convinced to be involved in national research projects, and only the next step is international research. This is the reason why it's so difficult to get SME partners in the European project, because it's a stepwise process. On the other side, if we look at the food market, customers and consumers evaluate and compare the performance of the whole chain. So not the individual performance of business, but the outcome. Usually, individual companies rarely have adequate resources on their own, so therefore, they have to combine. So if there is complementary resources, capabilities, and competences of the different businesses along the food chain, or even in the innovation chain, that this means not only food companies, but solution providers from other sectors, particularly from the high-tech sector or from the agriculture, combine their complementary resources, capabilities, and competencies, they have a chance to develop something absolutely innovative, brand new, which can provide them a competitive advantage. So this is what we started to implement systematically. And the lesson what we learned, I mean, there is a wide range of available solutions, for example, which were developed for the car manufacturing industry or the machinery design industry or the ICT, which could be very easily adapted to the food sector, but the owners of the solutions do not understand our problems, and we do not understand what is available. So the chance, again, is that we meet incidentally. So what we started to do and made fairly systematically when we worked on the concept of the food factory of the future, that we started to develop, on one side, clear descriptions of the problems to be solved in the food sector. So focusing not on the scientific issues, but saying this is the problem where we need a certain solution. And our friends from the manufacturing sector described, and the ICT sector, what are the key enablers of their knowledge or function, what they can provide. And then we started to bring these two together, and by a set of discussions, we were able to identify about 80 problems where there is a potential solution from the manufacturing sector, and about 70 solutions which can be adopted. We have this inventory, and this was only one exercise. What we also learned, which is very typical in any type of transdisciplinary work, that at the very beginning you have to make a common glossary, because the same terminology has a completely different meaning for the food scientists than for the manufacturing or ICT specialists. So the idea, the message is that it is worth to look for systematically. Sorry? 1 minute. Okay. For solutions. So I'd like to show you just a few examples. What are already available, which may be adopted or applicable for the chance project, not necessarily developed for that. I mean, just giving you ideas. First, computer-supported precision agriculture system for controlling spraying, providing an expert system, reduction of the use of pesticides, monitoring the disease status, and improving the food safety situation. The next one is tracing vegetables, bulk vegetables in smart and reusable boxes or crates, where you can put a label, an electronic label on the back of the box, and you can ensure traceability along the whole supply chain, which is very difficult with bulk fruits and vegetables. The next one is fresh produce available all over the year. You can't do this without having a permanent season. This we can't do in one place, but the idea is what businesses use, that they have growing sites around the globe. So they choose this, that they use the same standardized agricultural technology, the same varieties, the same crops, and harvest in 1 month in Mexico, in other months in Egypt, in third month in Europe, using advanced sensors for improving resource efficiency, which means in a general traditional food technology, what we apply at factory level, there is at least 20–30% inefficiency in using resources. This can be used for reduction of waste and losses, and the technology from the manufacturing sector can be applied. 3D printing, with which you can work with powders or extracts, which I do not think people will eat in itself, but you can combine it. You can make a coating, you can change the sensory experience, so you can add bioactive materials to products, using the business model approach from the manufacturing and ICT sector, using flexible layout and design with virtual and augmented reality, re-evaluation of the current food chain and current food technologies in the light of the new technical facilities, new technologies for selection, grading, and collecting of byproducts, personalized web-based ordering by individual consumers. Each piece of information will get a new tag, individual tag. You don't have to look for web pages, just can put together the necessary information, and from larger settlements you can order specific food products around the country, and there is an opportunity to deliver it like a mail delivery system. I don't want to go into the details, but it's technically possible. You can have a completely different supply chain than the current retailer chains. You can define your specific profile on your smartphone. Each product will have an RFID tag. You can read the labels. You can screen the information, the label information, the nutritional information. You can be led through the supermarket, which has drawbacks, not only benefits. You can rotate, magnify the labels, so the consumer choice and consumer awareness can be made in a completely different way. So this can be put on the shopping trolley with a so-called personal shopping assistant. You can check whether you purchase too much food. You can check whether you spend more than you want, and you can stop if you follow the advice. You can see how your ordered pizza is prepared and delivered through a web camera. So actually, you put a telephone order, and you can see how your pizza is prepared, decorated until you get it. You can get dietary information through web before you go to the restaurant. So these are just examples what is possible. There are far more examples, but the time is limited. Thank you very much for your attention.